I had this force. So I don't think anything was going to break me at that point. I had two small children and I was on fire. Quality is everything. That is my strap line. Got a phone call and that was my moment. That moment, the truffles started.
Welcome to Tell Me More with Monisha Mahtani, the podcast where we explore the story between the question and the transformation. This episode is sponsored by Nutrition Band, simple, real-life nutrition made personal. Today I'm joined by Meera Cortesi, London's truffle queen. She became the city's first female truffle dealer back in 2005 and now sources some of the most exquisite Alba whites and black truffles for some of London's favourite kitchens. We'll talk about the hunt, the nose, the season, and how someone in the world of banking turned truffle whisperer and built a business chefs swear by. Mira, welcome to Tell Me More. It's so lovely to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
We finally made it. So how has your morning been?
Yes, intense. There's been we're in peak truffle season. December is truffle mania. So between juggling orders and deliveries, we're working around the clock at the moment. So it's good.
Okay. Well, I'd love to know how you started. So what was that aha moment that took you from the world of banking to truffles?
Well, as with most things, it's never just one incident, but there definitely was a major moment in my life, which is I had a child. And I stopped working full time in finance and decided I wanted to be at home more with my son. But trying to find a job wasn't that easy. So I spent about 2 years looking for different types of jobs, and I wasn't that successful in finding anything. And my father-in-law suggested I sell truffles in London. So I started in 2004 trying. Didn't work, so I left it and had another child and got a phone call, and that was my moment. That moment, the truffles started, which was 2005.
Okay, so as with any business, then I guess it always sort of takes time to really take off, doesn't it? And tell me about your first season on your own. What nearly broke you and what kept you in the game?
What kept me in the game was I had given birth to my daughter in August and it was end of October. And I'd said to my father-in-law, send me 3 kilos of truffles. And I think I was on an adrenaline that, when you just, and I was on the phone, door to door selling, calling up Harrods, Phillip Square and Angela Hartnett. And I just started, I had this force. So I don't think anything was going to break me at that point. I had two small children and I was on fire and I was learning.
Okay, that's great. What stores are you in right now other than Harrods? Because I did read on your website there are a few that you are working with.
Well, I started with Harrods, but now I'm with Fortnum's, I'm with Panzer's, the Notting Hill Fish Shop, Supermarket of Dreams. So those are kind of the retailers that I work with.
Okay. What does a great truffle smell like to you in 3 words?
Well, it depends. If we're talking about the white truffles are garlicky, slightly oniony, nutty kind of smell. Whereas if you're talking about the black winter truffles, we're talking a bit more of a chocolatey, the French ones are a bit sweeter, the Italian ones are a little bit more bitter, but it's a bit more of a chocolate, earthy, musky feeling. Both very, very pungent winter blacks.
So since it's December and peak truffle season, what's your foolproof way to use truffles at Christmas? Whether it's one starter, one main, and one simple showstopper for home cooks like myself.
Well, the easiest is eggs. I mean, eggs are porous and they absorb the aroma of the truffles. So if you wanted to do a decadent egg dish, you literally just have to keep the truffles with the eggs and you can make fried, scrambled, and any type of egg dish would be great. And then a cheese toasty is definitely another foolproof one where you could make one of those grilled cheese sandwiches and have some truffles shaved up. And then a risotto or a pasta, depending on what you want. Those are the 3 fail-safe go-to dishes with truffles, whether that's black or white, actually.
Okay, and that sounds absolutely delicious. And any tips on how much to buy, the shaving, storage, and what not to overdo?
Okay, lots. So I would say In terms of shavings, really what you should calculate is 3 to 5 grams per person. And that's
Okay.
very generous. And I would say, in terms of storage, you keep them in an airtight container, wrapped up in kitchen roll, because they sweat, they lose weight, and
Uh,
you want to absorb the moisture that the truffles emit. Don't submerge them in rice, because I know that people
okay.
put rice because the rice dries out truffles, but the it'll extract too much. So what you can do is wrap it in tissue and put it in rice so that the rice
Okay.
gets the aroma, but don't leave it for too long.
Okay, that's a good tip. Thank you. And if I'm choosing between white and black truffles for Christmas lunch, what are the wins and why?
Ooh, what are the wins of my? Well, Christmas, Christmas is actually the moment of the perfect marriage of black and white truffles, because the black truffles have started, the winter black truffles have started, and they're getting good, if all things being equal in terms of weather. And the white
Yeah.
truffles are still in, which is exciting. So I would say, I learned about truffles through my Italian husband, and we celebrated Christmas with his family. And Christmas Eve was white truffles, Christmas Day was black truffles.
Oh, lovely.
So, and we'd
And do you
have,
ever mix them?
no, that's a big no. Because you kind of appreciate each truffle because each one has its distinctive flavor. A lot of people say
Mm.
to me, I love truffles. I'm like, oh, really? Which is your favorite? Because there are so many truffles out there, and you need to know which one you're having, and you can't mix white and black together
You
because you kind
can't, yeah.
of tell. You got to savor the moment.
Right. Okay. I think I like the white ones.
Yeah.
I think that's favorites. And that's only available sort of November and December, isn't it? And perhaps late October and maybe early January, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Spot on. Spot on.
Okay, great. When are they at their best in that season? Like if you're choosing between October to January.
I mean, there's a
Mm.
lunar calendar theory that exists amongst truffle hunters and truffle dealers, which is when there's
Really?
a moon, there's a new crop of truffles that come out. And normally that's middle of November to the mid of December. So that's supposed to be
Okay.
historically the best time to eat it. But obviously, we have numerous changes in the world in terms of environment, weather. It's hard to call it, but that is historically the best time to have them.
So, what's the prime window for whites versus black truffles? The flavor, the availability, and also the price, because I'm sure the price changes according to the season as well, doesn't it?
It does. But the price is more directly impacted by the weather. So even if you'd think that mid-November, early December should be the prime time, it's not always the case, because you have a cold spat, you have a warm November, it will affect the truffles. And the same goes for January and February. So back to your question of when is the best time to have white and black truffle. So the white would be November, mid-November to mid-December, but the black would be January and February. But if it gets too cold and the ground freezes over and it's a particularly cold January, then that affects the crop. But the winter blacks are beginning mid-December and through to March, and the whites are October through to January. So they overlap over Christmas, but their peak times of consumption is different.
Okay. And do your deliveries ramp up during those weeks?
Yes.
Because I'm sure, yeah.
October to March is intense, really intense. April is historically not really, the truffles that you can get aren't great. So that's the time where I just recover.
Okay. And tell me one myth about truffles you wish consumers would drop immediately.
That the best white truffles are from Alba.
Okay. And they're not.
Well, I mean, you get great truffles in Alba, but you get great truffles in Tuscany, Umbria, Marche, Aquilania, the whole of the central region of Italy. So white truffles, it's really more than the origin. I mean, obviously in Italy, they're great. And they say, also in Croatia, not that I buy any from Croatia, there is a very booming market, and there's Croatian truffles circulating in Italy as well. But ultimately, in Italy, the white truffles that you find tend to be quite good. If you go a little bit further south, you can find white
Mm.
truffles there too. They're not as great from my experience, but
Okay. And what do top chefs actually ask you for when they text you? And do they ever text you at midnight? And what's the latest? Because I'd love to know what's the latest you've ever got a text, because I know you do deliveries in the morning.
Oh no, I do it all day, all night. So I have
Okay.
had some of my late night restaurants saying, "We're running out, please send it." So really, it's just send the truffles, get them here fast. And I think one of my USPs, which one is my response and customer service level, and the other one is obviously quality. So it's providing both those elements that means I'm in this business 20 years later.
Of course. And what's your most memorable drop off to a kitchen this year?
What was quite funny is when I delivered to the River Cafe, and there's these two ladies who come over from America, and they come to eat at the River Cafe at the end of November every year. And I was doing a delivery with the chef, and they took a picture of me, but they also took a picture of me in 2013 when I was doing a delivery. So they sent it to me and they said, "It's so nice to be back here and seeing you do another delivery." But there's been 10 years, 15, 12 years since we took the last picture. So I thought that was quite sweet.
That's lovely. That's very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
It's nice because relationships that carry on over time
Mm,
is rare.
of course, absolutely. And I suppose that's what keeps you in the business, your relationships with people.
Yes. I mean, I've been working with my suppliers for 20 years. I've been working with some of my clients for 20 years. So it's something we're all growing together.
Absolutely. And tell me about the price swings. How do you help chefs plan when the market moves?
So hard, so hard. But I
Really?
try and get a feel for the prices are going up or down. You know, last year they were disappearing at a really, really fast rate. This year there's plenty
Okay.
about, but the price is dropping much faster than they've ever dropped before.
Okay.
So what I do is I say when I feel like the weather's changing or things are changing, I say buy a little bit more because I don't know what's going to happen. And then when I feel like prices are
Mm.
dropping, I buy a little bit less because I think next week they'll be cheaper.
Right. Okay. And do you have a very good idea? I mean, having been in the business for so long, I'm sure you get sort of that market trend, don't you?
I'm flummoxed. I have no idea. I literally last year and this year, when I go out and I put posts out on Reels, and I don't know why or how. Sometimes things are happening. Last year was supposed to be a great season because it rained in the summer. There were hardly any truffles. It really is, especially with the white, because you cannot cultivate them. They are God's
Mm.
gift. And I can't, it's very hard to predict it.
So, for our viewers, what are three fail-safe pairings for white truffle and give me three for black?
Pairings, as in dishes.
Yes.
Okay. White truffle, a champagne risotto with white truffles, or a tagliatelle with white truffles is a tagliolini. Scrambled or fried eggs with white truffles, and a cheese toasty using either vacherin or a fontina or a nice gouda can work quite well.
Okay. And what about black?
Both. They work for
Oh, but
both.
okay, wonderful. That makes it easy. And shaving, storing, and finishing. You gave us some tips earlier on, but what are your non-negotiables so that we don't waste a gram?
Oh, the non-negotiables are make sure you buy your truffles just before you're about to consume them. Don't buy it and think you'll eat it in a week because you'll lose weight, as in your
Yeah.
truffles will lose weight, and they are like strawberries. You know, if you buy it one day and you leave it 2 days, they start losing something. So eat it fresh
Okay.
and don't wash them until you're about to eat them.
Okay. That's a great tip. Thank you. And something I saw on your Instagram, white chocolate and truffle ice cream. Sell that to a skeptic.
To a skeptic. That was the chef. Those are my chef. They're very creative. I'm a purist and a traditionalist. Whenever they go, "Oh, we have a dessert with truffles," I'm like, okay. And I have, to be fair, I've had tried some and I thought, wow, that actually worked. I would never have thought so. And then I had a client who wants to do a martini with a truffle as well. I was like, okay.
Sounds interesting. I think I might be tempted to try that.
So yeah.
And something else I found on your website was this really nice sort of pesto, black pesto. And it was using black truffles mixed with olive oil, garlic, salt, and pepper. And tell me a little bit about that, because truffles are available all year round, aren't they? So could anyone make that and store that in their fridge and use that for their dishes?
Absolutely. It's what I do most of the time because it's great as a little dinner party, canapé where I'll just do a little bit of a truffle pesto cheese toast. Um, and everybody loves it. So it's super easy. Obviously, there are lots of different types of black truffles. So you have to get, I would say, the best black truffles, which is the winter black truffle. And it stores in the fridge. You could keep it for a week to 10 days. But actually, if you wanted to for longer, I would make it and freeze it.
Okay. And truffles are quite healthy, aren't they? Because, I mean, they're mostly water with small amounts of protein, fiber, and B vitamins. And minerals. So it's nice to sort of have that as an add on to anything. It's not like some of the other sauces out there, right? Which are quite high in sugar and
No,
um, maybe ingredients that we don't even understand. So I really loved this pesto idea, which is
it's
amazing.
it's a winner.
It's a winner. And I suppose the umami taste of that also elements the flavor, doesn't it? So you can make simple dishes, make them feel really luxurious without sort of heavy sauces. And don't truffles
Yes.
stimulate your appetite as well? I think you were telling me a story about, yeah. Tell us that story.
Well, there is one of those stories where people say, are truffles an aphrodisiac? I was like, I don't know, maybe, but it definitely might turn you on if you know that your partner's spending that much money on you. So it's like,
Okay, from that perspective, that's a good idea. Okay.
that could grow your appetite, but I'm not sure.
One thing I wanted to ask you was, how do you vet your hunt and ensure that as consumers, we're buying responsibly foraged truffles?
I visit all of my all of the people that I buy from. I know where they're working, I know how they work, and actually the people I've been working with, I've worked with for a very long time. I don't open the door that easily to people who want to sell me truffles from abroad. My inbox on LinkedIn is flooded with people from China and Iran and different places around the world that you would never think of. And I don't really respond to people online. I need to have been introduced to these people. And luckily I have a lot of connections in Italy and now in France.
Okay, that's great to know. And have weather patterns changed your seasons or yields, and how do you adapt to that?
They haven't dramatically shifted. I mean, the white truffles are still white truffles as they have been October to January, and the black winter truffles are December to March. I mean, and so the seasons still maintain the seasons. It's just a question of how much you're going to find and how good they're going to be.
Right. Okay. And what's the Cortesi promise in one line?
Quality is everything. That is my strap line.
What's one tiny operational habit that makes your service feel premium, sort of concierge style level?
I respond immediately or close to immediately to all my clients. They call within the hour, they'll get a message or a call back. They're not waiting.
Okay, that's great. And what's next? Retail moments, supper clubs, or educating more people about truffles?
All of the above. There's a frenzy for truffles lately, and people want to know more. So there have been quite a few supper clubs that I've been doing. I did one at Panthers. I've done it with Angela Hartnett at Murano, and there are more coming up in the future. There's more truffle events that people want to do, and people want to start doing truffle trips. So I'm looking at a whole world of different things that I can do in the truffle world.
The truffle trip sounds really exciting. I think I'll be joining that
Yeah. Um,
for sure.
they're fun.
Okay, so I'm going to play.
They're super fun.
I can imagine. Have you been on any yet?
We've been on quite a few.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to play a mini game with you now. So it's called Nose or Hype, and I'll name a trend, and you can tell me nose, which means to keep it, or a hype to skip it completely. And you can add a line in as to why. So truffle oil on everything.
Hype.
Okay. Truffle on dessert.
Hype. I'd
Okay.
say
Summer truffles for date night.
summer truffles. Summer as in the truffles from the summer.
Yeah. summer truffles for date night?
Hype.
What about truffle tasting menus at home?
Nose.
Nose. Okay. Because you like that. I think that's a nice touch, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I think truffle menus are quite fun at home.
Yeah. And do you create your own truffle menus?
Yes. I mean, when you start and you're in the truffle moment, you kind of don't want to ruin the flavors that you have in your mouth. So you just keep going with the truffle theme and everyone loves it.
Okay, that sounds interesting. And I'm going to do a quick fire round with you. So my first question is the best truffle dish you've eaten this year.
The best truffle dish I've eaten this year, I would say a truffle pasta at Trillo.
Okay. And what's a London favorite right now that uses your truffles? So you
Ooh.
can do a shout out.
God, there's quite a few.
Okay. Tell us them all.
Well, I have to say the pizza at the River Cafe with the truffles on it are awesome.
Okay.
They're super. And my husband said that the because I'm a vegetarian, but he said the
Mm.
carne crudo with the tartare was excellent.
Okay, that's interesting. Is there pizza gluten free by any chance?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, that would be nice.
Could I-
Okay. White or black truffle on a rainy day?
Oh, depends on if the rainy days in February, I'd say black, and if it's in November, always white.
Okay. So it depends on the season, really, rather than the rain.
Yes.
We're looking at the
Depends.
quality. So, one mistake home cooks make with truffle, and what's the fix?
They shouldn't be but with heat. You should never cook or heat a truffle because you kill it.
Right. Okay.
So you need to make sure that
So, you should just
keep
shave it on.
you shave it off, you make the pesto, or you do thin slices, or the pasta's hot, and then you mix in the truffle butter. There's so many different things. Like I make truffle butter at home for when I do a pasta.
Okay. And what are 3 things that are always in your fridge?
Butter, milk, and Greek yogurt.
Okay. And what do you do with the Greek yogurt and truffle? Because that sounds interesting. I love Greek yogurt.
I do. Well, I was thinking of actually, I just have Greek yogurt in my fridge anyway, but I don't actually do it with truffles. But the bottom.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
So you're saying, what are the 3 things I need in my fridge when I think about truffles?
Yes.
I would say butter, cheese, and fresh garlic, the white
Okay.
garlic.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So, Mira, tell me, in 10 years, what do you hope Londoners say about you, about Meera Cortesi, and the way you raised the bar for truffles in this city?
She had the best. She had the
She had
best.
the best. Okay.
Best. She had the best. And yeah, I think quite, when it comes to a raw and has the best, yes, because I'll still be doing this in 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure your business will just grow from here because you've been in the business for so long. And as you said, there's so much more demand now as well for truffles, right? So it's only going to get bigger and better now.
Fingers crossed, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mira. It's been a pleasure learning about the beauty of truffles and their season. It was really lovely having you here today.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun talking truffles.
Yes, and I'm sure we can have another conversation soon and we'll talk about recipes. If you enjoyed this episode, follow, subscribe, and save for your next truffle night. This episode was sponsored by Nutrition Band. You can find their link below.